Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we are tackling a big one, maybe the big one, the Book of Revelation. It's famous for being one of the most mysterious books ever written, right? Well, we're going to be using a devotional study guide as our key to see one particular way of unlocking this really complex text. So let's just start with that big word, apocalypse. When you hear it, what pops into your head? Probably chaos, right? Destruction, the end of the world. But what if that whole idea is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of the word itself? Okay, let's dive into this. Right, so the source material points us back to the original Greek. The word is apocalypsis. And guess what? It doesn't mean end of the world at all. It means an uncovering, a revealing, a disclosing. So that kind of changes everything, doesn't it? The question then becomes, what exactly is being revealed? Well, according to this study guide, the number one thing being revealed isn't some secret calendar of doom and gloom. Nope. It's about presenting a final, powerful portrait of the book's central figure, Jesus Christ, not as a historical figure, but as he is right now. And wow, look at the contrast the study guide lays out here. On one side, you have the images we're all pretty familiar with, right? The babe in a manger, the crucified Lamb of God. But then you look at the portrait Revelation paints, and it is completely different. A victorious conqueror, a white-haired, fiery-eyed lion. The source argues this isn't just poetry, it's a dramatic shift in perspective, from the sacrificial lamb to the conquering lion, meant to reveal his ultimate authority. I mean, listen to what the author of the guide, Dr. Danny Campbell, says here. Once you get Revelation's image of Jesus in your mind, it changes what you picture when you are praying. That's a pretty big claim, isn't it? The idea is that this powerful image is supposed to completely reshape a believer's understanding. But this new portrait isn't just for personal reflection. It also sets the stage for a very direct message. See, the book isn't just this one big portrait. The source explains that it also contains these 7 really practical, present-day messages. They're written in the form of letters addressed to 7 actual historical churches that existed in Asia Minor. And just to be clear, these weren't some made-up symbolic places. As you can see from the map, these were real churches in real cities in what we now call Turkey. Each one had its own community, its own struggles, its own unique situation. So why 7 letters? Well, the study guide suggests that number is really important. In the Bible, the number 7 often represents completeness. So the idea here is that these 7 churches together create a complete picture, a kind of template, really, of all the different types of spiritual and moral challenges that churches and believers might face, not just back then, but in any era. And these letters follow a really interesting pattern. You can almost think of it like a report card. Most of them have a commendation, that's the praise for what they were doing right, and that's often followed by a rebuke, a correction for where they had gone wrong. Take Ephesus, for example, praised for solid doctrine, but then called out for having lost their first love. And then you've got Laodicea, which got no praise at all, just a really strong warning about being lukewarm. Ouch. Okay, so we've got the central character, and we've got the message for today. That brings us to the part of Revelation everyone talks about, the future stuff, the prophecies. And this is where the study guide brings out its key tool for making sense of it all, a detailed prophetic timeline. The guide actually includes this master timeline, which it calls the chart for the book of Revelation. You can think of it as a roadmap for the future. It lays out a very specific sequence of ages and events, framing the whole prophetic section from what it calls the church age all the way through to eternity future. Now, according to this roadmap, there's a huge event that kicks off this whole final timeline. It's called the rapture. The source defines it pretty clearly. It's the moment when all believers are taken from earth to heaven, and this happens right before a 7-year period of intense judgment on earth known as the tribulation begins. And if you're wondering where that word rapture comes from, because it's not in most English Bibles, well, the guide points to this very passage. The phrase caught up comes from a Greek word that was translated into Latin as rapiemur, and that's where we eventually get the English word rapture. It literally means to be snatched up or caught up. So let's follow the map. After the rapture, the study guide's chart lays out these major eras. We're in step 1, the church age, right now. Step 2 is the tribulation, that's 7-year judgment. That's followed by step 3, the second coming, the physical return of Christ to earth. This kicks off a 1,000-year reign called the millennium. And after that, there's a final judgment and then the final eternal state.
So when you put it all together, the crucial point of this study guide is this. Revelation gets transformed. It's no longer a sealed scroll of scary, confusing predictions. Instead, it's presented as an open book, an uncovering, with a clear structure and a sequential map for what's to come.
And that really reframes the whole discussion, doesn't it? It leaves us to consider not just what the map says, but to ask ourselves, why would such a detailed map be provided in the first place? And what does that imply about the book's ultimate purpose and its message for us?